Good day, greetings, and ashe. Welcome to Real Ratchet Rubies. I am your host, Mika with an E, and I just want to say rise and thrive to all of the kings, queens, and all of you supreme beings out there. We know that there is power in knowledge, and that wisdom is transformative, especially when they're put into action. And since we also know that time is the most precious commodity afforded to us, we value your time, and we're most grateful that you're joining us today. And we hope and pray, family, that while you're here, it's time well spent. Let's go. Hey y'all, hey. Today's Ruby is 5 tips on how to overcome the Monday blues. I know a lot of people dread Mondays. So, welcome to Make the Most of It Monday. Let's hop right into the 5 tips. Number 1, write out 10 things that you're grateful for. You should do this at the start of your day. Grab your phone after you wake up and use your notepad. If you journal, grab your journal. If you just have a scrap piece of paper, listen, write down the 10 things that you're grateful for on that. You can affirm what you're grateful for. However, we suggest that you write these things out so that you have the list available to you throughout your day. So when life happens, because it does, you can use this list as a tool to de-escalate. There was a time when I did not know what to be grateful for, but I found it comforting in thanking the divine creator for waking me up every day so that I could participate in creating meaningful moments. I am extremely grateful for my children and my pets. I just love and adore them. I'm grateful that I am a vibrational being. I am a vibes girl. Okay, number 2, take a few moments to think about if you felt like you're being taken for granted in any areas of your life. Then take another few moments to think about what or who you've been taking for granted in your life. Think about how you'd like to be honored or made to feel appreciated. And now think of ways to extend that same courtesy to others. Are your efforts not being recognized or rewarded at home or at work? Are you aware if that is happening to someone else? Are there people in your life that are dumping their problems in your lap and venting but never check in with you to see how you're feeling? Or are you the one unpacking without consideration, dumping things on others? So this is just an example of identifying if there are areas in your life where you're being taken for granted or if you're taking things for granted. So if the example I just used of the overtly unpacking is a thing, you can decide to create a happy medium by talking about uplifting or encouraging things to offset the heaviness of feeling like you're being burdened by someone else's problems or that you're burdening someone else with your problem. And if you're dealing with someone who's actually addicted to negativity, then they'll want to end the conversation when you attempt to change the course of the conversations by having to call you back so that they can walk their fish. And that's absolutely fine because you're in a place where you are now elevating the dynamics of your relationships as well as making your Mondays better and ultimately all of your days. Use those situations as tools to assist in considering ideal alternatives and allow them to be the foundations of your list. Now, examples of considering if you're taking something for granted would be, and this is an extreme example. When I wake up, I really do appreciate hearing the birds singing. It does something for me. It makes me know that I'm alive, that I am here. However, there are individuals who don't have that luxury. people in prison or people in jail, innocent individuals who are sitting in the box on wrongful or unjust convictions, having something as simple as birds singing, reminding you that you are here, which is an indication of freedom to roam the planet and create or make opportunities or take opportunities, is very unfortunate, and the average person is taking that luxury for granted. Innocent people who are in prison do not have this luxury. They're told what to do and when to do it, and even if they do go outside, it's not the same as being free. I can speak to this personally because I've experienced being incarcerated for 9 months, and it was one of the worst feelings ever. Seeing birds fly and not hearing the singing, it really does something to your psyche, and I wasn't innocent. So that could be something that you're taking for granted. And these are just examples. In your own life, think about how and if you're being taken for granted, and also if you're taking someone for granted or you're taking something for granted. Use those situations as tools to assist you in considering ideal alternatives and allow them to be the foundation for course correction. Number 3, make a concerted effort to exercise your brain. Consider what areas in your life that you can add value. You might consume lots of content on social media, so you might even want to detach, even if for an hour. Go outside into nature. Go to a park if one is close by. Look at trees. See the patterns in the trees and see if you can make something of it. Look in the sky. Look at the clouds and see if you can make something of it. If you see something, just find ways to exercise your brain. Learn a new word. Write it down. Put it in your notes. Learn the definition. Put it into use. Start to incorporate it into your vocabulary. I will give you an example. The word it. I'm reading a book, God, Man, Word Made Flesh. And it speaks about the word it. The author made the correlation that the word it is basically God. Because what is the word it? It's going to rain. It's going to be hot outside. It is beautiful. What is this it? If you were to look up the definition of it, it says it's the point or place where something begins or it is created. Hello. Let's talk about creation. In the book specifically, it says that the I stands for the all eternal I. And the T is I in operation or the manifestation. It's a vibration, action, or motion. There's an example of a child bringing a piece of ice to its mother and asking the mother, well, what is this? Well, it's ice. Well, what is an ice? The child asked. The mother said, it's water. So the child, being intrigued, it wanted to discover the water in the ice. So it started to chip away at the ice. Now, we who have functioning minds and even the minute amount of intellect, we know that if a piece of ice is left out too long, what will it do? Melt. So that's what the ice began to do as the child started chipping away at it. Once the ice was all melted and in its original form, which was water, the child was disappointed. Okay, here's this water, but Mom, where did the ice go? And so the mother was left with the challenge of explaining to the child, well, honestly, there really is no such thing as ice because ice is all water, just in a frozen form. Ice is water in its frozen form. Now, I don't know if that's making sense to anybody, but I sure did exercise my brain in pondering and thinking about it, and I guess I learned something new. It made sense to me. Back to the list. Learn something new and exercise your brain. It will make you feel fulfilled and it could turn your Monday around. Number 4, exercise a random act of kindness. Let that individual who's trying to cut you off go. They may be running late for work. They may be late dropping their child off or picking their child up. When I am in the grocery store, I like to sometimes let someone go ahead of me. If they only have a few things, we may even have the same amount of things, but if a person is looking like they're in a hurry or they're rushed, I just let them go ahead. Smile at somebody or tell someone that they have a beautiful smile. Making someone else's moment or day a little bit brighter, it offers a feeling of satisfaction. Number 5, throughout your day, close your eyes, breathe, and just be. Imagine yourself in your happy place. Imagine yourself doing something that you've never done. It doesn't matter what it is. Just put your creative and synthetic imaginations to use, and you can do that by incorporating all of your senses with vivid imagery. So your synthetic imagination, if you're wondering, well, what is my synthetic imagination? What is my creative imagination? Your synthetic imagination, it offers nothing new. It simply relies on things that you've experienced that are a part of your subconscious mind. It's things that you've tasted, things you've seen, smell, touched, or heard. I like to use the example of licorice because I do not like that. I only tasted it one time. It was such a horrible taste. I can go back to the first time that I tasted licorice and how displeased I was with it. So that is your synthetic imagination. Your creative imagination is God or the divine creator in action. It's where inspirations or hunches are received because it allows us to discover new concepts, new ideas, new plans, etc. So here's an example of marrying your creative and synthetic imaginations together. Yesterday, a friend of mine, she was at work. She went outside to the client's backyard to have a cigarette break. While out back, a lottery ticket was lying on the floor. She picked it up. The numbers on the lottery ticket were familiar to her. It was her mother's birthday. And so she actually sent me a picture and said, I was just outside. This blew over to me. Now, her synthetic imagination, she made the correlation that it was her mother's birthday. Her creative imagination, a hunch was received. An inspiration was conceived. She had the thought, I should go out and play my mother's birthday. Well, what do you know? Didn't her mother's birthday play in the lottery yesterday? So it was her synthetic imagination combined with her creative imagination that made her have this experience, this awe-induced experience. So my suggestion, close your eyes, put your imagination to use, breathe and be. Create something in your mind so that you're able to outwardly create it for your reality to make your Monday a better day. And hopefully you incorporate these tips every Monday so that you will no longer have the Monday blues. You'll actually look forward to Mondays because you have created a new dynamic by offering gratitude, not taking anything for granted, learning something new by exercising that big brain, extending random acts of kindness, as well as putting your synthetic and creative imaginations to use to create something new. I hope this helps someone. If you know someone who also suffers from the Monday blues, please share today's Make the Most of It Monday message. And as always, have a beautiful, beautiful day.